Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There are a few announcements. We will be starting the talk shortly. Kindly mute your microphones and ensure the smooth flow of the entire event. Please be informed there's a link provided for the signing form in the chat box. Please sign in for your attendance. You may also type your questions for this section in the chat box. We will address them at the end of the session. Good afternoon to our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Ling Hui Xia, UTAR staff and students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Center for Learning and Teaching, CLT, I, Saraswati Turiraj, would like to thank everyone for your presence this afternoon. Thank you for allocating your precious time to attend and gain knowledge from this talk entitled Quality Education and Job Opportunities in the Field of Special Education. Ladies and gentlemen, this talk will address the quality of teachers' training in special education and future employment trends. Special education, also called special needs education, the education of children who differ socially, mentally, or physically from the average to such an extent that they require modifications of usual school practices. Special education serves children with emotional, behavior, or cognitive impairments or with intellectual, hearing, vision, speech, or learning disabilities, gifted children with advanced academic abilities, and children with orthopedic or neurological impairments. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Ling Yu Xia, with us this afternoon. Allow me to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Ling. Dr. Ling is from the Department of Special Education, National Chiayi University, Taiwan. She obtained a bachelor's degree from National Tsinghua University of Education in Special Education. She has obtained master's and PhD education from the Ohio State University Education Services and Research from the United States of America. She has obtained few significant awards, namely Ambassador Scholarship, Graduate Research Assistant, and Distinguished Research Award. Currently, she is the Director of the Graduate Institute of Special Education, National Chiayi University, Taiwan. In addition, a research interest involves the area of literacy, language development, and deafness. She has published several scholarly papers on the language and literacy development of individuals with severe to profound hearing impairment. Without further delay, I would like to proudly invite Associate Professor Dr. Ling Yu Xia to deliver a speech on quality education and job opportunities in the field of special education.
开声音哦 ，OK，
这样就可以了。
对，
好啊，那个
直接这里，
哪里？
这里这个，
那里
对，
分享啊。
对，嘿，
哦好，
对，然后点这个，对，然后这里，对，好，然后你这边把它播放，对，好，这样就可以了，好。
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be invited to talk this afternoon. My speech will be about quality education and the job opportunity in the field of special education. As our host introduced, I have my master's degree and a PhD degree in the United States for 6 years. And I have been working in Chiayi University for 25 years. So my major is special aid. And I'm kind of nervous, actually. I hope this afternoon I will give you some idea about what we have been done for quality education in Taiwan, and what are job opportunity in Taiwan, especially for special aid. Okay, I will divide it into two parts. Part one, I will talk about quality education. So most of us know the Substantial Development Goal was announced by the United Nations Transformation Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in September 2015. So after that, countries around the world was trying to fit the goal for 16 Sustainable Development Goals. And here's the list of these 17 Substantial Development Goals. First is no poverty. The second is zero hunger. The third one is good health and well-being. And the first one is quality education. So our main topic will be the quality education. So the Substantial Development Goal 4 is about quality education. So here I have listed the quality of education, the goal for quality education. It's ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunity for all. That's the goal for quality education. So it means that we need to provide an equal quality education for everyone to reach equality. So the fact for quality education is enrollment in primary education in developing countries has reached 91%, but 57 million primary age child remained out of school. That means there still have some children they can't go to school. So that's the fact we want to provide quality education. So the target 1, 4.1 is by 2030, ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education, leading to relevant and effective learning outcome. That's the quality education target 4.1. 4.2 is by 2030, ensure that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development, care, and pre-primary education, so that they are ready for primary education. So the goal 4.2 is to make sure all girls and boys have quality early childhood development. The third one, 4.3, is to make sure all women and men have equal access to afford and have reached a quality technical, vocational, and territory education, include university. So the third target will be make sure all women and men have equal access to quality technical, vocational education. So here's the icon. When we talk about quality education, see these three pictures. If everybody without any help, so they watch the football game, that is justice. But if we give them some help, the same help, then even everybody still can watch for the whole round of football, but that's not equal because for some kids, they need more help. They need more assistance. So we need to justify the access to give everybody have the same equality. And the target 4.4 is by 2030, substantially increase the number of youth and adults who have relevant skill, including technical and vocational skill for employment, decent job. Okay, so the target 4 is we need to increase the relevant skill to help them increase or gain technical and vocational skill to gather decent job. And the 4.5 is by 2030, we try to eliminate gender disparities in education and ensure equal access to all levels of education and vocational training for the vulnerable, including persons with disability, indigenous people, and child in vulnerable situations. So that's the goal for 5, eliminate gender disparity. So the model for equality, we need to eliminate any kind of discrimination, not only the structure or system discrimination. We need to reach to the inclusive equality and the form and the real equality. So we prohibit any ground of discrimination. And the point 6 is by 2030, we ensure that all youth and a substantial proportion of adults, both men and women, achieve literacy and numeracy. That means we need to gain or we need to improve all youth or adults, no matter man or woman, they all can reach literacy. and they can count. And the 4.7, by 2030, ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and the skill needed to promote sustainable development, include, or among others, through substantial development and substantial lifestyle, human rights, gender equality, promotion of a culture of peace and non-violence, global citizenship, and the appreciation of cultural diversity and the cultural contribution to substantial development. So this is the 7th goal for the quality education. And also there have 4.8, build and upgrade education facility. They are child, disabled, and gender sensitive, and provide safe, non-violent, inclusive, and effective learning environment for all, for everyone. So the target 8, we need to upgrade our education facility so they can give everyone, no matter is child or people with disability or any gender sensitive, they can survive, we can provide them a safe, non-violence, inclusive, and effective learning environment. I think this is real. These goals are really meet our special education training goal. And the goal B is by 2030, substantially expand globally the number of scholarships available to developing countries, particularly in some developed country or small island developing state and African countries for enrollment in higher education, including vocational training and information and communication technology, technical, engineering, and scientific program. So let's go for 4.B. And the last one, 4.C, is by 2030, substantially increase the supply of quality teachers, including through international cooperation for teacher training in developing countries, especially these last developed countries and the small island developing states. So far, I know it's kind of boring because I just talks about what are the main goal for the quality education. So I just want to make sure that any of you are familiar with this target. So next, I will talk about what we have been done in Taiwan to reach this or to provide a quality education. The main idea, we are try to barrier free 3 reasonable accommodation. Okay, this is the example for environment. As you know that for the building, there's a lot of steps to reach or to walk. But for the child who is unable, who has a moving problem, he has a physical disability, they might need alternative, or they might need a reasonable accommodation for the entrance. So you can do some accommodation so to let the child with wheelchair still can entrance the gate door. So this is the picture. Pardon me? So this is a picture we talked about the barrier-free 3 reasonable accommodation. And also the building, we try to meet all the building is meet the universal design. The universal design is originally from the building, the building. And the idea is accessible through universal design is to help everyone can walk on the street or to get the money from ATM. So you try to lower the access for the ATM, or you will lower the floor to let everyone was accessible to get in the entrance. And as we mentioned, talks about accessibility, they include all environment, any physical environment or vehicle, transportation, and building, stations, hospital, and all informations or public service and the device are all accessible for all. Do you have any questions? Because I can see your question from the talk board. So it's okay if you have questions, just let me know. Okay. So right now I will talk about what special education development in Taiwan, because this might be most of you want to know about special aid. Okay, so I will show you the picture here. This is the first special education school in Tainan. The Taiwan special education began in 1889. It's original from the British priest William Campbell. He set up a training mute people church. He built out a training church in Tainan. So he was our pioneer. He set up a church to train deaf people and try to help them how to talk, how to speak. So this is the original place. The Mill Church began in 1889. And then the school is still in Tainan too, but the campus view is quite different. Now they have two campus. And after that, we got a very long time to get through the institution. So Taiwan's special education law legislation began in 1984. So at that time, so that's our first special education law. We passed the special education law in 1984. So at that time, we have 10 categories for students with special needs, which include mental retardations, hearing impairment, visual impairment, etc. So at that time, in 1984, we already have 10 categories to provide service for students with special needs. And then we give every category a name of the name of the category. And then our central government legislation was mandate a free, appropriate public education for every children with special need from the time disability is identified through school age. So if we find any child who was identified with special need, we will place them to a free, appropriate public education. So I will mention about what kind of placement we have to provide for those students. And here, and this slide talks about the special education law when it was announced in 1984. Actually, in Taiwan, our first Department of Special Aid was established in 1975. So we have department first. Then we promote to pass the special education law in 1984. So I was graduate from the first Department of Special Education. So right now in Taiwan, we have 13 universities who has Department of Special Aid, and these 13 universities have pre-employment special education teacher training. So the undergraduate student enters the 13 university, and if they graduate from the Department of Special Education, they will have the quality for teacher's certificate. I will talk about the employment job opportunity later. So that right now we have the whole Taiwan, we have the 19 university. Okay, so now I will switch the gear to talk about what the curriculum and instruction, because we mentioned just a little bit about when special education law passed, and what are the category for child with special need. And then we talked about what are the training institutes. So the training institute, we have 19 university. I think if you have another my colleague talks about higher education.
Sorry, Prof. Ling, you are muted, Prof. Ling.
Okay.
Is that clear now?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Sorry. 怎么会没有通到 So, we mentioned earlier about briefly. I mentioned about the special education law in 1984, and what are those institutes can train, have the opportunity to do the special education teacher training. So if you have listened to my colleague's speech, you will know we have more than 100 universities in Taiwan, but only 30 universities, mostly this university have the teachers college. So for university who have the College of Education or Teachers College, we have the pre-employment special education teacher training. Okay. So I will switch the gear to talk about what are the curriculum and instruction we have been done for those students, for students with special need. What should we teach? Or where should we teach? And what should we teach students with special need? Okay, I think the key of success for a child with special need is really from the moment when he was or she was diagnosed. So we are doing. We have been spent a lot of time to do the early intervention. I believe early intervention was implemented very well in Taiwan. Okay, I will show you. We have a special education notification system. So every child with special need can notify from the system. So the government or the government will know, and they know where the children through the notification system. The way we're doing that is because hospital will notify too. The parents can notify, all the nursing school, the general school, they all can do the notification. So we will know where's our child and where are they going. So you can know every category. Here's, I'm sorry, I can't translate into the English because this is a really website. I just get through our government notification systems. Just briefly let you know that you will see where's the special education students and in which county. So we have the number of every county and for every category. All right. So I will add one more information here. After our first special education law passed in 1984, now our special education category was increased to 13 for child with disability. And then we also have 6 category for students with gifted and talented. And these childs are also we will know but actually we don't know their name, but we will know the number from the system. Okay, so our quality education now on, we are really from inclusive to segregation to integrate and to inclusive. So here's the picture I will show you. Here's the general, the green spot is the general students. So the general students here, and the outlier spot is student with special need. So in the past, they are all inclusive. They are all inclusive. They might have the opportunity to access to school, or they will segregate. They go to special school, so they segregate. They are all enrolled in special school, and they don't have opportunity to play or to learn with general students. And then we get through around 10 years about integration. We try to mix them together. So these childs go to the special class. Here's a sort of special class. The students with special needs are in the same class, and the other students are in the whole school are in different class. So they might can integrate together, but they still have the real chance to cooperate. So right now we are doing a full inclusion. That means no matter the degree of disability, all child have the equal opportunity to inclusive together. They have the equal right to reach the same school service or the same education resource. That's the whole idea we are doing now. So these 20 years, we are really in the inclusive stage. So actually, the inclusion was supported by the team spirit. So it's really hard. You have to that all the team include the principal or the government or the parents or the general school students. They have the team spirit, and they like to share their experience, and they can accept this student with special need and the need they want to give them support. So those are their nutriments. Those are nutriments to propose to support the inclusion. And also about the instruction, we use a lot of multisensory training. For example, the visual, the tactile, the auditory, and the task training. So from the child is very little, they might go to the occupational therapist to support their sensory deficits. And here's the picture I took from the school. This is the storage of the school. This storage is really for the material. So every teachers, when they are going to, they can come to the office to gather the material that he needs for the class. So this is what I mean is language input. we use a lot of material to give the child language input to help them understand simple everyday language and to understand many common words and to understand the sentence of daily life. So these students with special need concrete experience. So we set up the situation room for train their daily life, or for example, go to the bed, or watching TV, or do some bake the cookie, etc. And also we have our Taiwanese Taiwan Sign Language. Taiwan Sign Language. So it's really welcome now. A lot of young people are trying to learn some sign language. And we have a website, we have picture card, we have a workshop. So we hoped more and more people will learn about sign language, especially our Taiwan sign language. And we also provide the translation service for those who have a problem with communication. So they can connect any county. There's a direct connect the email or the phone number, so they can call to the county, ask for translation service, and these are all free for public because this budget is supported by government. So here's is really international conference we host several years ago. So we have people from we have people from Japan, we have people from British, and we have people from American. So we can get together, but we need a lot of translation from sign to oral, and from oral to sign, or they need to translate to another language. So here's just a brief idea about what the translation system works, even for the international conference. And this is my favorite part, is literacy. Okay, we help every child with special need from learning to read to reading to learn. This icon is really from my a good friend of mine from the Georgia State University. Okay, and this is some experiment or some teaching method I've been finished for the past few years. Okay, we call it a story structure, story map. So we help students with special need, they can understand when they finish reading a book, they can understand the structure of the story. They can have an idea, they have a clear idea about the story map, the story structure. And we teach them how to find the structure from the story. And they can finish the train so they can understand the whole story. And then we test, we test their post-test. We found when we finish teaching, or they got a whole idea about how to finish a story, they will improve their reading and writing both ways. And this is another story map we have finished a couple years ago. So we met a student. They have no idea about what writings looks like. And we use the technique story map and tell them how to find a clue from the story and how to put on their idea through the face. So after that, they can write a long essay, longer and longer. They can finish a better composition. So that's a very impressive way we have been done for the past years. And this is also another instruction. We try to solve students' emotional problem because they have the lack or they have the communication problem. They don't understand others' mind. They can read others' mind. They don't know what's wrong with them. So here's I call them to draw down the cosmetics. What's happened? So the first, they get together. They talk about their assignment. And then they have a disagree between each other. I think plan A is better. And the other one say plan B is better. So they have a disagreement. And then they use the wrong strategy. They fight each other. Okay, and then they don't talk anymore. So we give them some strategy to tell them, no, that's not right. You must to solve the problem, you have to calm down and you have to listen to others. So after that, when I finish around 13 program, the child draw what happened later. So after all, they know when we have something to talk with others, we have to face to face, and to discussion, face to face to discussion, and speak out what's in your mind, and then they try to find a peace way or a better way to solve the problem, to face the argument. So then everyone have a peace mind. So this is really finished in the primary school for a child with communication problem and the emotional problem. And this is another concept map. We have been done for students with special needs. They have no idea about how to finish a composition. This title is My Family. So when you give in topics to write down your family, to talk about your family, these kids have no idea. How should I put down to introduce my family? So we give them the concept map to ask them, how many members do you have in your family? And he say, I have Papa, I have father and mothers and my elder brothers and me, okay? And then, okay, what's your father's job? What's your daddy doing? He said, oh, he is working on a company. Okay. And he care about our education. And he always encourage us to study hard, to be a good person. So here's the mindset, the floor. I show them how to talk about your daddy, how to talk about your father. And then you think about what's your mother's characteristic. He was doing a lot of housework, and he take care of your health, and he really care about your academic, and for your health, especially when you are sick. He was so anxious. He was so worried, like a hot pot, had the ants on the hot pot. So they were so touching. So you think about some touching thing for your family members. So after that, the child, after the training for the whole set, the child can understand how to write down, how to talk about the essays topics. This is just an example, okay? And then I will talk about some adjustment and practice. This is really our outline for our curriculum. We are really hot now. So when we talk about practice or instruction, there's a 4 way to do that. The first one is content, and the process, and the environment and assessment. So I will briefly mention about how to adjust your learning content. For the learning content, there's several ways to adjustment. The first one is deepen. Deepen means deepen the difficulty of indicator. So if the child are more talented, so you can deepen the difficulty of your material. The second one is increase the broad way or the diversity of the capability indicator. So you need to increase the broad and the diversity of your material. And the third one is simplify. You need to reduce the difficulty of your material or your learning matches. And also, we can do the decomposition. So we can break down indicator, competence indicator into small goals, and the learning separates at different stage or at the same stage. So it depends. You can meet every child's individualized plan to break down the indicator, to break down your material into the smaller goal or your learning material. And the last one is substitute. So you can switch or you can use the alternative way to reach the same goal. So this is really we provide for learning content. So we talked about inclusion. That means every child need to eat the same dinner, the lunch. For example, all students get together, they eat the same dinner or eat the same lunch, but you can modify a little bit. Depends on the child's individual characteristic. So you can reduce, you can substitute, and you can plot or simplify. There's many ways. Actually, this is the general 6 ways for learning content. You can do this accommodation. So for learning process, we also use a lot of learning strategy. For example, this strategy is really good to trigger the child's learning potential, especially for those children with special needs. For example, we have work analysis, we have multisensory, we have direct teaching, we have cooperation learning, and we have cooperative teaching or other teaching methods. So don't forget, students with special needs also include superior intelligence. So for child who are talented and gifted, we emphasize on problem solving, creativity, and higher level critical thinking or emotional training. This is really the need for the child with super intelligence. And for learning environments, we make sure the environment is safe, secure, and barrier-free. As I mentioned, is the universal design or the accommodation. So according to individual needs of classroom location and the line planning, so the learning area and the seating can do some environmental adjustments. So you can change the way, change the classroom locations to help the child to move easier, or you can adjust the classroom line, etc. So the last part is the learning outcome, how you evaluate. The learning evaluations, we promote to use multi-resource assessment, for example, dynamic assessment, for portfolio assessment, ecological evaluations, and curriculum-based evaluation. So this is really the core idea for the adjustment or learning evaluation methods. We need to adjust for those students with special need. And then also we can deepen. For example, we can provide adjustment of the time, place, and the manner of the evaluation. So we can make adjustment to the content and the questions, etc. So this is the learning evaluation method and the standard. We need to do some. And also we provide some live technical aid. This is the picture here. We have the sign language translation service. This is the telephone. And for the employment support, we are doing a job design. I might don't have enough time to talk more deeper on this part. Here, just a brief idea about, for example, we give the service content, the handling unit, and we also give them the life support feed for low income household or the low and the middle income household. And for the transportation service, we have a half price treatment by domestic mass transportation service. So a person with physical or mentally disability, they can ride domestic transportation. You need the proof of your physical and mentally disability proof, and you can enjoy the half price treatment. So when you take any transportation, you just pay half price. Okay, and also if you need someone to accompany with you, to go with you, the necessary company also enjoy the half price treatment. So, and the other welfare is such as like access to sightseeing area and leisure values culture facility is half price of charge, and also they can they are test free. Okay. So here's also we mentioned about a teaching adjustment. Okay, teacher, every general teacher will try to let every child know their progress of the course, and they are also need to provide written material to allow the students to preview. So this is the really teacher's responsibility to do some adjustment to fit the child's need. All right, so I'm going to move the part 2. The part 2 is about job opportunity in special education. Okay, I will talk about where's our job. Where's the special education teachers go? Okay, we have 2 major resource. Okay, most special education teachers goes to school. So we have a lot of school job opportunity. I will talk about that later. And the second one is we also have a lot of welfare institution. They need a lot of special education teacher. Okay, the institution is for early childhood periods or for the post-secondary education periods. So for the school, I will mention we have 2 kind of license. So if you need a teacher's license, special education teacher's license, we have 2 kinds of license. The first one is disability. You need a teacher's license to teach children with disability. And you also can have a teacher for gifted and talented. So this is 2 different teacher certificates. But these are included in special education department. So for every special education department, we have a pre-service teacher training and required to finish at least 48 credit hours to get the teacher's license. Okay, so we have you need to qualify to be a teacher of gifted and talented and a teacher for teaching disability. So for disability, so teachers of ability for disability, the place you can go is special school. Special school. So what special school means is the whole school are the students with special need. They are all mentally retardation, or they are all hearing impaired, or they have visual problem, or they have physical problem or physical disability. Okay, so this is the way special education teacher can teach in special school. So the second way is in the general school, we have a special class. We have special class. So In a special class, the students are all disability. They are all physical disability or mentally retardation. So this is another placement for special class. And the third one is resource room. So resource room means every child go to the general school. So they go to the general school and they have all kind of activity together with other general students. But if they need some course need to boost or need to support, they can separate and they can separate or they can help by the resource room teachers. So resource room teacher is do some faster or do some modify, or they can help them to improve their reading or their mathematics problem. Okay. And the first one is iterate. Iterate means the teacher move around. So the teacher will switch school to school. So and they can help different school students with special needs, because maybe this school are very small. They don't have enough students to become a resource room. So the teacher will move around. They will move from school to school and then iterate to provide service to those students. So this is for teacher disability. But for teacher for gifted and talented, we don't have special school in Taiwan, but we have special class for gifted and talented, and we have resource room for gifted and talented, and we also provide in some county we also provide itinerary teacher, itinerary counseling teacher to provide service from school to school, to give service, to provide service to child with gifted and talented. Okay, and these slides I will talk about what are the job positions. What are the job positions? Actually, this job position is announced by our government law. So your duty are different, and your position, we provide different position to help students with special needs. So the first part is teacher. Okay, teacher, that means that can be a mentor or tutor. The teacher might just teach a main course. For example, for high school teacher, you just teach math or language. So you are a teacher. So you need a teacher certificate. But the mentor or the tutor means you are not just a teacher, you are also a mentor. So you need to teach the child academic skill plus their mental health. They need to provide counseling. You need to guidance or give them some career judgment or give them some support, any kind of support if the child needs it. So this is the mentor or tutor. Okay. And the third one is special related specialist. The first one is teaching assistant and the helpmate. I will mention a little bit later. So for teacher, mentor, or tutor, they are all required to finish special education pre-service teacher training program. The core class credit hours. In Taiwan right now, we are 48. So you need to finish 48 credit hours of teacher training program. And when you finish the training program, you are qualified. You have you are a candidate to take the National Teachers Certification exam. So you need to finish your course to finish. You need to finish your teacher training program, and then you are qualified to take the National Teacher Certification exam. When you pass the exam, you can move to your practicum or your teacher practice. So when you pass the exam, you go to teacher's practicum practice, and you will be got a teacher certificate. You are qualified for the teacher certificate. And then you take the certificate to get a job, a real position. You have the offer. So you can to interview from county to county to get a job. This is the duty or the job position for teacher and the tutor. And we also have, in our system, we also have a special related specialist. But this part is not so related to our education because this is really from the medical school. The medical school, for example, special related specialists include physical therapist. So you can help the children to adjust if they have moving problem, they have walking problem. So you need physical therapist to help you to move or to walk. And if you have fine motor problem, you need occupational therapist to help them draw the picture or use the chopstick or use the spoon or draw the line. So you need occupational therapist. But if you have language problem, if you have articulation problem, you have speech problem, you have stutter, or you have any communication problem, you need speech therapist. So these are all special related specialists. And the last one is teaching assistant. The teaching assistant is different from the helpmate because the teaching assistant is really help the teacher. They under the supervision of the teacher and help class students in the school learning. For example, the child may need to the toilets, so they need the teaching assistant's help. Or the teacher assistant can help the teacher to do the assessment or the evaluation. And they also can help the students to adjust their school life or other things. So this is what the teacher assistant's duty. But the helpmate is kind of part-time job. He is really just help for the students. For example, the student might need to move from the resource room to the special school or from the resource room to the general class. So the helpmate will help them to move to from classroom to classroom. So this is what helmet done for in the school. So I will talk this slides again. The job position is in special A, we have teacher, special education teacher, or mentor, special related specialist, teaching assistant, and the helpmate. Okay, I think I have almost done for my speech. And thank you for listening. And I'm so welcome to hear from you. 那我怎么开那个荧幕？
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Ling, for your insightful sharing. There were a few standout points that resonated with me, namely qualitative education, literacy and numeracy, sustainable education and lifestyle, effective learning environment, and supply of quality teachers. Besides the 20 years of development in special education in Taiwan, from exclusion, segregation, integration, and now finally the inclusion education. I'm very impressed. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the question and answer session. If you have any question, you may unmute yourself and ask, or you may type in the chat box. We will address all your questions. Dr. Ling, now I will read out some of the questions that we received during the registration and some questions from me.
Okay.
The first question is, what will be the requirements to serve in special education? What will be the requirements to serve in special education?
You mean the teaching assistant or teacher?
Teachers, I guess.
Teachers. You need to take a pre-service training course program.
The second question, let me move on with the second question.
Yes.
What are the factors that influence the career decision of special education teachers in Taiwan? What are the factors that influence the career decisions of special education teachers in Taiwan?
The impact?
The factors that influence their career decision.
The career, what the impact?
Yes, what are the factors?
我不太懂他的意思哎。
What are the factors that contribute for them to decide to be a special education teacher?
为什么想要 contribute 做那个特教老师？
对，我想问这个问题。Well, actually, I have talks about my students because all students are all high school graduates, and then they decide to be a teacher for special education. There are several ways. There are several possible. The most part is because they have a sibling. They have sibling, or they have related people. They are a student with special needs. All right. So sorry. They have sibling or they have related people. They have the same problem. So they will try to help them. Okay, this is one possibility. And the second one is some students' characteristic is like to helping people. They like to helping people. For example, like me, I was really graduate from the special education department. Actually, in my age, I have a lot of choice. I have a lot of options. But I think helping people is a very good job. You know, you can help people, and you also got the salary from the government. I think this is a very good job. So I really like to help people. So my students have the, if you have the same characteristic, you like to help people and you like to challenge yourself. For example, because you have to face different children every year, so you need to modify a little bit for your teaching material, for instructions. So that's an interesting way that you face your job. That's your curriculum choice. And the third one is a real part is we got a good salary because the job position for special education is also quite well. I mean, there's still some position for special education teachers. So if you need to help you need a independent life, that I think become a special education teacher is a good choice. Okay, that's my answer.
Thank you, Dr. Ling. There's another question. Is there a significant discrepancy between what special education teachers expect and what they experience in their work? Is there any significant discrepancy between what the special education teachers expect and what they experience in their work?
Discrepancy?
With their expectation versus what they experience in their work.
How the experience?
他应该是说，你觉得一个特教老师他应该具备什么样的经历呀、特质啊之类的，这样有没有期许这个
？Oh, that's a very challenging question. Actually, special education teacher need a lot of you will face a lot of challenge in Taiwan because you need to face to the parents. You need to face the parents. You need to talk with the parents what their child's problem first. So you need a very calm characteristic. You need to calm down and peacefully to help the parents solve the problem. And the second one is you have a lot of paperwork. You have a lot of evaluations. You need to do your adjust. You need to adjust your assignments or your evaluations. There's a lot of work to do, but just like every job is challenge. So I think that's you really need a lot of, you must be strong to face this challenge. Yeah.
Yes, I do agree with you. We all must have the patience to be an educator. Okay, Dr. Lin, there's another question from the students. What are the three most essential roles of a special education teacher? What are the three most essential roles of a special education teacher?
Essential role?
Yes.
You mean the 他说他的角色功能哦，这不就跟一般老师一样吗？Well, there's no special from the general teacher, just like every teacher. You need to, okay, maybe I mention something more particular. Okay, you need to do the individualized education plan. You need to do the individualized study plan for every child because every student are different. So you need to plan to design every curriculum for every child. So this is a big challenge. This is the main rule for the special education teacher. And then you need to cooperate with other teachers because your child will inclusive into a general class. So this child may have some problem. So you need to talk to the students at that class, and you need to talk to the general teachers and how to cooperate, how to help these students. But it depends, because if the child really have a very, very serious emotional problem that he needs some isolate or other treatment to help. Yeah. So so this is another the second issue you might to face. That is, you need to know how to cooperate with others, and you need to how to communicate with the parents.
Okay, Prof. Ling, could you elaborate more on from learning to read to reading to learn? Could you elaborate more on from learning to read to reading to learn?
Well, the early from learning to read is the earlier stage because the child can read. So you need to teach them how to read. You need to teach them how to be literate. So he need to know the basic concept about reading. For example, he need to know the character or the name or the meaning of the characters. And then if the child have an idea about reading, they improve their reading comprehension, then he got a key to read. So he can use the skill of reading to facilitate the learning because he can read a lot of material. So by reading material, he can learn more skill. So these two differences are the earlier stage and the later stage. So from the beginning, you need to learn how to read. And if you have a skill reading, then you can use your reading skill to learn.
Yes, it's very challenging, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Reading to learn. Yes. Dr. Ling, there's another question. Could you name some of the education given to mentally retarded or challenged children? What are the lessons that you all give to mentally retarded or challenged children?
I think a mentally retardation child need a more simplified task. So you can modify your assignment by working analysis, step by step. You need to simplify. So you can step by step to help to model it, to help the student with mental retardation to know the first step, I need to do this work. And then if he reach the goal, you move to the second step. So actually, teaching mental retardation child is very exciting way because they are so cute, and mostly the most way you need to motivate or trigger their motivation. You can simplify your task and give them a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I have two more questions.
Yes.
Second last question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of special education?
What are the advantage?
Advantages and disadvantages of special education.
优势跟劣势，两项都有。
Advantage. I think advantage is your life are so different. I think for me, your life are so different. So when you face any life, you will feel there's nothing. There's not so worried because there's a lot of people they need help. So the advantage is you will face your life easier because you will think, oh, my difficulty is minor because there's a lot of bigger challenge. I can see a bigger challenge from others. And the disadvantage is you are so tired. Yeah, I mean that because you always to face a new challenge. You need to face a lot of challenge. You challenge yourself, and the environment is challenge you because the generation are different. So you face the different parents, different teachers, and different society. So different city have different atmosphere. So I think that's a disadvantage. So you really need a lot of motivation to move on. So sometimes you will feel you're so tired. That's my truth.
This industry for 25 years. I salute you, the Prof. Ling. Okay, there's one question from Miss Chiok Pek Fen. Maybe you can unmute and ask.
Yes, I'm Chiok from FAS. I would like to address the questions to Prof. Lin.
Yes.
I would like to know the prospect of those students who have, gone through the special education. What is their career prospect? 他们未来他们的发展是怎么样的？那些学生？
你说 special education student 吗？
Yes, 对。
Okay. Well, that's a good question. Actually, not it depends. If you have a normal intellectual, you have normal intelligence, or and after training, you might find a job that's not so it's not difficult. Our government provides some job position for people with disability. So you can take the national exam to get the official job position if you are mentally normal. I mean, if you have a normal intelligence, you just hearing problem, but you can do many things well that it's easier for you to find a job. Okay, but if you have academic problem, you might to do some more less skill work. For example, you can clean house, or you can find a job in any welfare institutions. Did I answer your questions?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions from the audience?
不好意思，我想请问一下，如何去台湾当老师？老师是否接受外地学生来当本地老师的？目
前我们没有 排斥 we are welcome students from abroad to finish our teacher training program. Okay, if you finish the training program, you can get a job back to country. That's my my experience. But it might be hard, a little bit hard to get a formal position here in Taiwan. Okay, we have another student, colleague will.
Hello everyone. 我是那个国立嘉义大学国际处的老师。对，那因为以目前在台湾来说，就是说如果你是以那个所谓的 overseas Chinese student 的身份进到台湾来念书的话，那我们台湾的政府是可以让你另外申请成为所谓的刚刚老师讲的所谓的那种 teacher program 的学生，所以你是可以成为 teacher program 的学生。那我们目前台湾的政府也是开放，让你只要完成了大学的 teacher program 之后呢，你有这样的就是你只要完成这样的一个 program， 然后拿到我们的 certificate 之后呢，你是可以申请成为就是参加那个所谓的就是那个就是检定的考试这样子。对哈，但是目前我们其实就是说，你可以在台湾取得这个检定的考试，但是呢，如果说你要进入，就是说虽然你有检定的考试，但是我要进到我们一般的所谓的政府的中学或者是小学，要当正式的老师，可能还是没有，目前还是没有办法。但是如果说你有这样的一个，就是说你在台湾还是可以有其他的任职的机会，因为我们台湾还是接受就是外国人留在台湾，你有相关的技能，你有相关的这样的一个大学毕业的证书，你是可以留在台湾工作的。对，以上简单的补充，谢谢。
Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Ling Yu Xia, for the beautiful sharing session. Your sharing exceptionally inspires all our staff and especially students here. Ladies and gentlemen, to end this talk today, I would like to call upon everyone to switch on your cameras for the group session, for the photo session. Please switch on your camera and put on your best smile. Please switch on your cameras. We appreciate if most students and staff could switch on your cameras. Okay, Miss Evelyn, can you please take photos?
Yes, I'm waiting for the rest to join. Is anybody else going to join us? Okay, give me a moment. Okay, smile everyone. Right, let me take another picture. Okay. All right, smile. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evin. Thank you, everyone. And most importantly, thank you once again to our Associate Professor Dr. Ling for the inspiring sharing. Please be informed there's a link provided for the sign out form in the chat box in another session. Wishing all of you all the best. Take care, stay safe. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good day, everyone.